Hi, welcome back guys, and in this video I want to look at this book. It's called Commodore Amiga, a visual compendium. Com with two M's, as in Commodore Compendium. Do you get it? It's published by Bitmap Books. It's got number 2 down in the bottom, number 2. So I think this means it might be the second in their series, possibly the second book they published, not sure. The first one I think was a Spectrum one. It's done in a similar style. I think there might be more than one version of this floating around. I'm not entirely sure. I should probably have checked that. But the one I'm looking at here has got a slipcase thing, but it's very thin. It's a very thin paperback slipcase. And then the actual book that's in there, in the slipcase, is also paperback. It's a very paperback affair, really. Anyway, it's very nice. It's got lots of stuff about Amiga games in, which speaks to me. It speaks to my heart. So let's have a look inside here, shall we? Actually, just before we do that, I want to just mention, when you slide the book out of the slipcase, you get this. It's hidden, a little freebie. You get like this, Another World poster. To be honest, it's not the best poster in the world, but anyway, it is a poster and it's free. It's a bit strange. What, A3 size? There we go. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thunk it, eh? One other thing, sorry, is you get also a free postcard, and it's like one of those Amiga demos or something. It's like a bit of a, is that a geometric shape demo thing? And on the other side it says, "We did it! A huge thanks for backing my Amiga book." By Sam Dyer, that he's the designer of this. So that's cool. Free postcard. Can't really shake a stick at that, can you? Right, we're looking in the book now, I promise. So I got my Amiga, I think, in 1987, which I believe was the year it came out in the UK. And Marble Madness was a classic. I remember playing that. It was one of the first few games I had, trying to navigate that ball down across those geometric structures. Oh, it was fun. It was hard. But yeah, it's funny to think actually about the Amiga, because when I think back, it felt like I had it for years and years and years, but actually I didn't, I don't think. I was basically playing on it from about 1987 through till maybe 1993, at which point I went to university and I kind of left my Amiga behind at home, and I played on it a little bit in the times I came back from university, but it was really, that was the end when I left it at home. Still, that was 6 years of gaming. It felt like many more than that, and I played so many games during that 6-year period. I mean, it's phenomenal how many games came out for the Amiga too. Oh my word, Deluxe Paint. That was just an amazing package. I know it wasn't a game, it was a utility. It was basically the Photoshop of the day. There was no Photoshop at this point, I remember, but it's what you had if you wanted to create graphics on an Amiga, and it was amazing. Blew my mind when I first saw it, because it's like, oh my god, you can actually draw stuff, and you can like do it pixel by pixel. I mean, literally that's how you had to do it. But it was an amazing package, and obviously that was used by a lot of people to create the kind of the 16-bit art that we see, that we know and love. Stop right there. It Came from the Desert was probably my favourite Amiga game of all time, certainly in my top 3. Cinemaware came along and started making games like this that were trying to break away from just normal gaming and making more of a cinematic experience. They had Rocket Ranger and other games, and it was a bit like, I remember thinking what was happening when we started to see games like Alan Wake on the Xbox. We were trying to transcend into something that was a little bit more nebula, that was is it a game, is it a movie, I don't know. It drew you in, just like It Came from the Desert. It was a really cool like B-movie experience in an Amiga game. Never seen anything like that before. It was creepy, and you couldn't trust any of the characters, who slowly, depending on what happened, changed into ants. Spoiler alert there. Battle Squadron, probably the best shoot 'em up as well on the Amiga. Yes, there was things like Xenon 2, R-Type, whatever, but I think Battle Squadron was the best. Vertically scrolling, 2-player, it had a soundtrack to die for that just kept me going, and all the different weapons and things were just incredible. What a great game. Talking of amazing scrolling shoot 'em ups, this time horizontally scrolling, Swiv was a cool game. It was also 2-player. One was in a helicopter, and the other player was on the ground in like, I don't know, like a jeep or something with like a gun on the back. And we always used to argue about, you know, which you were, because it was kind of cool to be the helicopter, but also the jeep. Oh, and you had to kind of like work together and protect each other as well. There was strategy to it, but it was awesome. Really good game. sometimes when I review books on this channel, I feel almost like I'm doing it through a bit of a sense of duty, like, oh, that one would be good to include. I'm sure people would probably want to look in there. But they're not always, I've got to be honest, they're not always like my favourite genre or book. But I do them anyway. I enjoy doing them and stuff. But this was definitely different. This book was a complete pleasure to look through. Not only that, but I had a lot to say about this. I had a lot of thoughts as I was looking through. So this video could have been a lot longer than it was, to be honest. But it did really speak to me. And yeah, it reminded me of some happy times in the 90s mainly, I suppose. A lot of people my age with an Amiga or an Atari ST did. There weren't any Xboxes, PlayStations, desktop PC gaming wasn't really a thing back then. So that's all we had, and you know, we clung to these games. They were part of our growing up, I suppose. So yeah, I love this book and I love looking through it. And yeah, I was a little bit more passionate about this one than most books I do, to be fair. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like the video if you liked it, and if it's your first time here, why not subscribe? And hopefully we'll see you next time. Bye for now.